I was at Bath and Body Works with my daughter. We were on a little date, and I said, "Let's go get you something there." And the greeter like gave us a compliment. I'm like, "Oh, that was nice. Okay, I feel good." And then this this trashy looking person is walking in her Grinch pajama pants, and the greeter, she's just like, "Oh my gosh, your pajama pants are so cute." I'm like, that's what she's doing. Her job is just to be there.
Yeah,
to
you're not
give
special.
a compliment first thing
Yeah.
when you walk into the door.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh.
All right, so another evening episode, Alex.
I don't like these.
I know you don't like these.
I like to go to bed early.
You were really close to like trying to cancel with Spencer tonight. You're like, can we?
No, I was asking. No, I said, what is your commitment to this episode? Because I need to know if I need to put my face on.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I learned. Well, for me, I've been focused more on like looks maxing recently. I don't know if you guys have heard of that term.
No, what is this?
Oh yeah, it's just where you like focus on being like the highest like looking version of yourself that you can be. You haven't seen that new phrase on like the TikTok and all that stuff?
No.
No. It's just where
So
men
is this your version?
Is it this?
What did you say? I'm just trying to
Is
keep up
this
with
your
Spencer.
version of looks maxing?
Yeah,
Look
no
at it,
kidding.
right? Like,
This is how
Yeah,
good
yeah.
it's gonna get.
yeah, this is as good as it gets right now.
And you feel good about yourself?
Looks maxing.
I can tell you look like shit. There you go. Reality.
Well, thank God, like only like 5% of our total views are video, and the rest is all audio. So I can just say whatever the hell I want, and people maybe
You look
believe
great.
it. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we figured we would bring back on Spencer. Last time he was on, we kind of talked. We kind of shifted from, being productive as a dentist to kind of changing it to being productive as like an office and having your team productive and focusing more on that. And so we kind of did an episode just talking about that. And we're like, well, we've got like a shit more ton stuff we could talk about. Mm-hmm. So he's like, just let's come back on and kind of continue the conversation with it. So if anyone didn't listen to the last episode, it's like, what? I don't know what it'll be when we release this. A couple months ago, right? But it's the most recent one with Spencer. So we're just going to continue on with that. So I'll let you take it off, Spencer.
Yeah, I mean, how many seasons did Kobe Bryant play in the NBA? Let's call it 20. And did he dominate every single year, even though he was so amazing? He definitely did not. And the thing is that he really needed the supporting staff around him to do really well. And just because you're an awesome dentist, just because you're super skilled, and just because you have like all of these abilities doesn't mean that you're going to make it and sustainably be successful. Anybody can have like a good day or a good month, but how likely are you going to keep it really, really great? So it's all about having a good team and making sure that you have the support around you to just keep winning and making sure that you're feeling productive now and sustainably working on your longevity as well.
Yeah, so can I be the Shaq to your Kobe, Spencer?
Yeah, it depends on how capable you are. So should we go over your resume?
Oh, no. I'm like the, who is it? Mark Madsen, with the token white guy on the Lakers? That's me.
Yeah, nice. So I was a Phoenix Suns fan growing up, and Kobe and Tim Duncan were always just my heartbreakers. So we never won a championship with Steve Nash. We've never won a championship, period. I even named my kid Nash because that's how big of a Suns fan that I was. So when I bring up Kobe, it is not lightly. He definitely destroyed a lot about me. But
see, I had it the opposite. So I grew up in Chicago in the 90s. So I was just used to Jordan, and we just dominated everyone. So there was never that like, oh man, I just expected us to win, like, because you just won every time. So that's why, like, even the Suns were good back in the 90s. And as we continue this conversation, Alex is looking at us with blank stares because she's from Canada, and the only thing they do is hockey and like a crappy version of the NFL, like the CFL. So that's all you
hey,
got.
I do. Before we go too far, I do want to share a huge win with you guys. Can I?
All right. Yeah.
I think I got a glimpse of what it feels like to be dental famous last week.
Okay, what happened?
I was walking down the boardwalk of Newport Beach, your guys' old stomping grounds,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
with my wife, and I hear behind me, "Hey, Spencer Greer, you're a great dentist." And I was like, first off, I thought, oh shoot, I'm not going to recognize whoever this is. And who the heck is saying my name in Southern California? And I look back and we start walking to this guy and he's smiling at me and I go, man, I don't recognize him. And my wife kind of made it seem like she knew him. I'm like, all right, maybe she'll let me
So
know.
like, yeah.
Well, she's just being friendly. He goes, you don't know me, but I know you. I've been following you on Instagram for a while. Love your stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, phew. But my wife, as we were walking away, she's like, wow, look at you. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know,
Did you just
so
walk with a little
dental
bit of a strut
famous.
after that? You're like,
I
check
think
me out.
so. I felt an inch taller. That was amazing.
I mean, amazing enough to where you were like, hey, can I share this with everyone? With our 6 listeners? Yeah, they're going to love it. Yeah.
I thought you said you went up to 10 this past week.
Oh, yeah, 10. We're double digits. Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, now that I'm dental famous, let's continue. How about we talk about the team?
Yeah.
I joined your guys' ranks among the dental famous. So anyway, I think that our last episode we were really rolling really well with just how vital it is to have a good team, to lead a good team, and to lead with kindness and with intention. And if you listen to any of the people who are just like really great dentists, you see that they've got good leadership abilities and ability to just kind of take check on people who are performing under them. So first off is your right hand. I think that we all need a right hand. Do you guys have like a right hand employee at your practices where you're just like, okay, this is my go-to person?
I should. I
Okay.
agree with you that that's important. And my perspective is I can see the difference when you have that and when you don't have it.
Exactly. So yeah, as you were talking, I'm just like, I should have said it makes such a big difference when we do. And when you have that person that you're just like locked in with and who sees things as you see and you can just share that vision with them, super difference maker. So I
I mean,
usually
who is that at your office usually, right? Like, has that been another
usually the office
associate? Is
manager.
that like who is it? Office manager?
Yeah, usually the office manager. I've had some really good lead assistants, but I think the office manager has the ability to uh, communicate, multitask, delegate. There's just so many aspects that have to be done at the front, and usually our back office staff, if they're not like cross trained, that's not really. There's just very different aspects, right, of those jobs. So it's usually my
So
office manager or my
tell me
front
with your
office
office
lead.
manager because I'm curious about this with your office manager just to hit on this a little bit more. So as most of us like as dentists, right? We're like, yeah, of course, like conceptually that totally makes sense. I want to take stuff off my plate. I want someone that can kind of act as our advocate for the practice and can like implement things for me. Some of the challenges I've had with office managers, because we've gone through a few of them, is being able to effectively, for lack of a better term, get them to do what I want, right? If we're saying it bluntly, right? Like, but I know in a much better way. So can you say, like, what are the things you've done to be able to, because it's on you, it's on the dentist or the owner, right? Like you guys we're the ones that have to be the ultimate lead and get the office manager to follow our vision.
Yeah, and let me just clarify. I think office manager is usually a stupid term. It's not a appropriate title, and it's not even, necessary, except they feel like they want it because it's so overarching among our industry. But how do you get them to do what you want them to do? It's really hard to. It's really hard because you just filter through these, let's just call them front office leads, okay? You filter through these people and you're just like, man, I can't come off too strong or else they'll quit or they're going to cry. We've all had those people who cry and it just feels super awkward. And we go, I'm sorry? Question mark?
Yeah.
So, Alex, I'm looking at you. I
Yeah.
know you've made more people cry than both of us combined.
Yeah, probably.
So, I do filter them from the get-go. I say, this is going to be hard and I'm going to be very open with you, but I hope that you can take it so that we calibrate over the next several months. I don't need you to become like me. I don't need you to think exactly like me, but I at least need you to understand this is what's going on in my brain. You're not in trouble. Nobody's like, I'm not mad at anybody, but my mind is going a mile a minute and you need to just understand what's going on in here. This has worked for really good people. I've had some really, really great people who have worked with me and they've become my right hand, and we just ran for years with success. Some people have come in to replace others and they were out within a few months. They couldn't take it. I got the tears. I got the, you know, they say, hey, I'm going to quit and go to this other industry. And then I find out they're just at another dental office. They just, you know, they're out of here. So it's just really important that we're upfront and that we're just honest about what our intentions are, and we have high expectations. And, you know, when you pay higher to somebody, you say, I'm paying you higher than market, or I'm paying you higher, you know, as typical for this office because I need you to be at a higher level than everybody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. One question I have too is, so how do you keep, have you ever struggled with like the sustained effectiveness of an office manager, whatever word you know we want to say with it? Because I feel like what happens is, at least with me, is I'll get people who are like, they're bought in and they're like, I want to do this, right? And everyone's always excited at first. Whenever you start a new job, right? Everyone's always excited for their new job. And then, you know, sometimes, like you said, they'll continue to be, you know, to be good and be solid. But then, like, you start to see little cracks happen, right? Like things that maybe didn't bother them at the beginning start to bother them a little more, right? It's like the evolution of the relationship with them. Have you ever noticed that happen with some of your office managers? And then how do you, like, have you been able to, like, fix that? Or is it just kind of an inevitability?
I mean, sometimes we've been able to kind of right the ship. Similar to any good relationship, you've got to have your, you know, your downfalls and your talks through it. And sometimes we approach it maturely. But I mean, this is a voice of warning to all 12 of your listeners. I I th- I think that it's important that just because something bad happened in the past with somebody, maybe in this type of a role, doesn't mean that every single employee is going to be like that. So even if it happens with 3 out of 4, we might still strike gold with that fourth. So it's really important for us to just approach everything with a mirror view of how we are and make sure that we're trying to improve with each interaction and each relationship. But also, some people just, how do you not say suck without saying suck? Some people just,
Blow.
they're just not great to work with. They're just not great
Yeah.
employees, and you have to feel okay with them just not lasting. Just, hey, you know what? This person came in with a bad background. I don't like where they came from. I don't like, it's fine that they moved on. I, Even though hiring is hard, there's still a lot of people around, and I'm sure that there's going to be somebody for me. Even
Okay,
if you're
so
drowning for the next 3 weeks, sorry, even if you're just drowning for a while, and you're just like, woe is me, this is really hard, guess what? It will come to an end, and you will find somebody, and something will work out. So just keep plugging along. You just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and that's what people, we are so tragic in our industry of just like, oh no. I saw a post the other day. Oh no, Q1 was 120K less than Q1 of last year. Is everybody else having the same terrible quarter? And I said, first of all, shut up. Because why are you looking for validation? You're looking for commiseration,
yep.
right? And second of all, every Q1 doesn't have to be the exact same as all the previous Q1s. Every single month doesn't have to be a record month. And if you're less than last month, then it's okay. Just keep going. So going back to my original point of bringing this up, you don't have to have the best month every single month. Just keep going. In dentistry, we're always going to be able to keep our lights on. I mean, I say always, but you know what I mean. 99% of us. And you just need to keep looking. keep hiring. And if you are a dental business owner, that's what you signed up for. So just swallow it and just move forward with it. Sorry, what were you saying, Eric?
No, I don't know. I probably forgot by now.
What
No,
does
I was
Alex want to
saying
say? Because she's just wanting to go to bed. Alex, you tell me something.
Should I talk on
it's
this?
not coffee in her hand right now. You think it is. It's like
no.
a honey tea.
And
No,
it
it's
was
like a
tea.
melatonin drink.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No, I don't need any of that stuff to fall asleep. I can
So
fall
what were
asleep in
your
a
okay?
second.
So Spencer, what was your thought? Because I think this would be interesting for listeners as well. And this is a question for Alex too. So
Oh, thanks for including me in this podcast.
I'm getting you into
called
this one.
Called
Yeah.
the
Well, this
Alex
is the
and
Shaq.
Eric
This
show.
is like a Shaq and Kobe thing between Spencer and I this episode.
So can I go to bed?
Yeah. You
No,
can.
I haven't hired you as my Shaq yet.
Oh, yeah,
Don't you
shit.
dare assume this.
Yeah. No, with office managers right now. God damn it! Now every time I say that, I'm gonna be like, Spencer doesn't like that word. So yeah.
Just call them front desk.
No,
Front-
dentist
call
them the
likes-
furniture.
Call
No
'em
dentist
staff.
likes that. No dentist likes that. Why? Because everybody comes to us as an aspiring office manager, and we're all like, you don't
Oh,
really
dude, and
know.
then like, okay,
I know,
and
I
like
know.
one aside on this too, I know it is great. I'm gonna talk again, but like, we had one office manager, and I like the second she became an office manager, right? Like, she promoted up from like, treatment coordinator or whatever. She becomes the office manager, and the first thing she wants to do is like, I just want to manage the people. Like that, she thought that was like 20 hours a week of just managing people. And I was like, that's not all I need you to do though. Like, I need to do meetings. I need to do this. I need to do this. I was like, yeah, but I still need you to do some of your other tasks, right? Like,
Yeah.
she got really excited about like the word manager, and I found that she became a worse employee because of it. And so that kind of sucks. So that was going to lead into my question on Alex. What are your thoughts on if you were starting over again, and you were bringing on an office manager, like a second your right hand person? Would you want someone necessarily in dental or someone that you promoted up, or would you pick someone in a different industry?
I think that's a big, that's for me, and for I think a lot of dentists too. We think our pool of applicants are like the 3 people sitting in front of us, and we're like, I guess one of these people that answer the phones is going to be my office manager.
That's because it's the easiest, right?
Right. And it is, but usually it's like, these people all are not great. So it's like, which one like is the best out of like the worst? So no, I wouldn't do that.
If you like our podcast, check out Alex's newsletter, Just 2 Minutes. It's full of great advice, which makes sense considering it's her thoughts and not me sidetracking her every 2 seconds. You can subscribe at coupleofdentists.com. The link is in the show notes. Now, back to the pod.
Going back, I would, be very, very different. I would hire, based on obviously
The position? Like,
on personality for sure. Like, can you get the job done? Are you a like to-doer, and stuff like that. But like, I've never had my right hand person, like office manager or anyone at the front. The only time I had someone awesome was a back office lead assistant, and he and I.
Oh, when Tyler was in? Yeah,
was
he was
so good. It was just like we were always on the same page. He helped like.
He was just motivated and like a really fast worker. But then why did he leave then after like 6 months?
It wasn't 6. It was like
Alex made him cry too much.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
I know.
No.
No, what was
no
it?
way. No,
Let's see if we remember the story.
No, he
the
wanted
same.
to go to dental school.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he told you.
Well, that's what he told me, but I mean.
No, I think he said it got like too stressful.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
Okay.
I can ask him.
Oh, I know. I think we saw his number. We'll have to ask him if he's still here.
It was not. Well, maybe. I don't know. No. I don't agree with you. I mean, maybe that was an internal dialogue he had, but no, it does make a difference. That is the point. Is that I've worked with crap assistants before and good assistants, and you know the difference. It's the same with like a good office manager or like someone who's not doing their job correctly, or someone that you always just have to delegate or look over on like, what are you doing? And like babysit them all the time. It does make a difference when you hire that right person. And they usually cost a lot more.
Yeah, and that was my point too. So
I hear
Spencer.
this question a lot, Eric,
Yeah.
of like, would you hire from outside of dental? I just want to say before what you say, I've never had an office lead that was green to dentistry. They've always been experienced. All right, what were you going to say, Eric?
Okay. No, I was going to say, and then in terms of like cost, because this is one thing I've thought about since like we've, sold to a DSO, and I'm like trying to look at dental as a business from like a bigger view on stuff, right? is I wonder, and I probably should have looked the answer to this up before, is, if you're running, say, a big ass office like you've got, right? And if we say something that's like, $3, $4, $5 million plus, right? And you're running that size of a business. Someone who's an office manager for that, you would think if someone else was running a business that was a $5 million business, you'd probably be paying that office manager $150,000 a year, probably, right? I would think like that type of salary is what would be required. They'd probably, it wouldn't be bad if they weren't an MBA, right? Like one of our buddies that's in Spokane, I know his office manager or the person who ran a lot of his stuff, she has her MBA. And so like, should we also, instead of just hiring Sally, who's, she's been in dental 30 years, but like she has really no experience in like business, and she's really never been trained in, leadership, or she doesn't have a degree in, something like that could help, or has experience in other fields. Like, is that really the right person even if you don't have a huge office, just to run your business that maybe is even 7 figures, right?
I mean, we're talking to a broad array of people here who may be, manning a $600,000 practice, and somebody here with a $6 million practice. And so there's going to be different things, but I think that all we're looking for is somebody who wants to own the results. When we succeed, they feel happy. When we fail, they feel hunger, and they feel like, what's going on? We want somebody to feel that with us. And our whole team is not going to feel those things with us. So yes, let's pay a little bit extra to that person so that they can feel that empathy with us. Also, I got this from somebody else, but he said, when you find your right hand and you're going to be more hands-off and you want to delegate as much things as possible to them, here's what you do in your interview with them. You say, okay, I'm gone, and this thing happens. What's the first thing that you do? And as long as they don't say, call you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Then that's good. Right? Yeah. You heard that one too?
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard it, but I experienced it recently, right? Like we've been having some little IT issues, and all the time it's, it'll be we had 3 weeks in a row where every Monday morning something happened when they updated over the weekend, and Open Dental would crash, right? And so you kind of knew it was going to happen like clockwork. And every single time I would tell them, the first time I was like, hey, contact our IT company and get a hold of them. Here is their number. Here's how you submit a ticket if you forgot, and they can handle it, right? And I was like, okay. Second week comes, text, hey, it's not working again. And I was like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, damn it, I just do you not feel confident in doing this? I gave you a phone number and I told you how to submit a ticket, and we've gone through it once already and you've done it. Why do you keep on telling me over and over again? I would love it so much more if you just handled it. I came in and you said, hey, it was down again, but I called, we're getting it resolved, and it's almost fixed. I was like, okay, cool. Versus getting a text at 6 in the morning or whatever, 7 in the morning when I'm driving in, oh, it's down again. It's just stop coming to me with problems and expecting me to do the call. And so that's been a frustration point on my end. Is just
then they're just becoming a middleman. They're just becoming a messenger, right? What are we paid for in life? Everybody's paid to solve problems. And so this person has just got to be your biggest problem solver. And I think a lot of us dentists just want things off of our plates, and that's our problem. And so we say, can you take these things off of my plate? And, as long as you find somebody who is willing to take that is responsibility, that is problem solving. And to go back to your original question of just what if you're a $6 million practice? Do you pay them a whole lot? I think the answer is, heck yeah, as long as they're willing to, like I said before, just do anything except call you about it. They could use the whole team if they want to. They can use every resource that, I tell my people, I'd rather have you ask me for forgiveness than permission. If I see a charge to the credit card of $500, I'm just like, what was this all about? And they're like, well, we had this problem, and, We knew that you're on vacation, so we just fixed it, and so it's all taken care of. I'd be like, that's pretty awesome. It's
Yep.
just, that's just the kind of way that I've done
But
things. I
maybe
want
that's
them
on
to
us
feel
too.
empowered to just act. What's that?
Maybe that's on us too. Like, maybe the error on my end is maybe I didn't do a good job communicating to them that that's important to me, right? And so if I never had that conversation, maybe in their head they're like, if I just solved it and it's wrong, he's gonna get mad at me, or the owner's gonna get mad at me. So maybe we need to do a better job of communicating up front and saying what you
Yeah.
said, like the best thing you can do for me, the way you can help me the most is like don't call me about problems until you've like found a solution for it. And it's like then maybe you
Yeah.
just need to do something as simple as that, and a lot of us just don't do that.
And you know what I say to that is, if you do something that I don't agree with, we'll have the conversation, you won't be in trouble, and you'll learn. You'll learn by acting, and then I say, "Oh, I didn't like that. That's okay. Let's change it next time." And that's how I've been able to get through it. Now, some people might cringe by hearing that, and that's okay. We're all different. But in my experience, I want people to feel empowered. And how am I going to empower them if I'm going to put my shadow over them with that fear that, oh my gosh, the owner is going to get mad? I love that you said that because, like, the fact that you just said, maybe I haven't had that conversation with them. Think of how many of us doctors, because we're, quote, doctor, we just feel this, like, superiority or just this magnification of who we are. And that can seem kind of scary to the people that we're trying to empower. We're trying to make sure that they can do these things without needing us all the time, but maybe we've given them reason to be kind of scared of us. How can we bring that down in a sense of humility of like, okay, I'm a human, you're a human. But at the same time, I'm a business owner and you're not. Let's not let's not be equal. Let's not be like way higher and way lower. How can we find a good compromise here?
Yeah,
I
how
think
do
that's
you
really awesome what you said.
Yeah, Alex, so yeah, what are your thoughts on that too? Because I feel like that is
Yeah, I mean, it has to go back a little bit with like training them and like your leadership style and stuff like that, where it's like they come to you with a problem. I'm like, everyone does in the beginning, right? And you have to set the expectation of, okay, here's the problem, and taking a step back and not answering it and saying, how are you gonna solve it? You tell me how you think you should solve it, and I'll tell you if that's what I would do in my head. And if most of the time they know how to do it, right? It's that they're scared, right? They don't want to like disappoint you. They don't want to say the wrong thing or whatever it is. And it's like, well, no, yeah, that's a problem. Okay, we will get it solved. But what would you do? Like, what's your first instinct? Just tell me. And if they say and you say the answer, and you're like, yeah, that's what I would do too. Go do it. And you get that cadence of like, oh, okay, every time there's a problem, here's that learning opportunity. And then it becomes, you already know you can do the problem and the solution. You don't have to bother me at all, right? So
I mean,
I
and I
think
think
that's
like
kind of
yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I had an epiphany just now, and it's probably a terrible one. You guys give me your thoughts. I feel like if someone's not doing something, right? Like if you said, I need you to find solutions and they don't. Let's use my example that I said before, right? Like the IT thing where they were kept on coming back to me and telling me this. I think it's either one of two reasons. Either they're scared, like we've been talking about, right? Or they're fearful, or they're lazy, right? Like they're not scared. They just don't want to do the work and they know they can get away with it. So I can't in my head think of like a third reason. I feel like it's either one of those two. And I feel like one is solvable and the other one is not solvable. I have not been able to solve someone who is lazy. I don't think that's necessarily our responsibility to solve laziness, right? Because that feels like a little more deep rooted. I think if someone's more fearful, maybe it's more of a localized thing that's because of maybe something you can do to help remove the fear. I just don't know how you remove laziness.
Yeah. Um, I immediately started thinking of how lazy I am when you said that. Meaning, I think that we all prioritize things that we like to do, and we look at, okay, I don't want to do this. This sounds really tedious and hard, but I need to make some hygiene calls. So I think I'm just going to work on my hygiene calls right now because I'm still working, but I don't want to do this IT thing. I immediately started thinking of like, what if I'm working on the upper left arch on a fat cheek and 15 is kind of blown out and it's going to be really tough to take all the decay out and put a buildup on it. I may just piddle around on 13 and 14 for a while before I start going after 15. You know what I mean? You know that feeling?
Yeah, you're like, it's like you're dreading, you're like, ah,
You're just
man.
dreading it.
Yeah.
And so you're like perfecting everything. You're just like pretending that it's not even there. Maybe that happens and we're looking at it as just like, you're lazy, but maybe it's just work that they don't want to do because it's tedious, hard, long, and I can relate with that.
Yeah, I
could
mean, the only
definitely relate
difference
with
is,
that.
did you end up prepping 15?
No, I just pulled it. Just
Okay.
kidding.
No, but like you did it, right? Like I understand the concept of like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to focus on my other task. But then you eventually did 15. You put a buildup in, right? In a crown. Not an MODBL filling on 15.
Yeah, because I'm a hero.
Yeah. And, but my point would be, I guess the counter argument to that would be like the same thing with the office manager or person on your team saying, yeah, I don't want to do, insurance verification. That's tedious and annoying. I'll make some calls, and they just make the calls, but they never do the verification. Like, you still have to do the task, right? And sometimes I think we run into issues where we don't. Sorry, that's just me more bitching about stuff. But yes, I get what you're saying.
I took us down a weird path with my analogy. I got you.
No.
So
yeah. Why did you talk about dentistry in this again? Why did
I appreciate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We don't do clinical on here, man.
Is number
You lost me
15
at
the right?
15.
Is number 15 the right one? Am I thinking of the right two?
Is that right or left?
It's the middle one down here, right?
Yeah.
On the
or is it like 1-5? What's that in
on
international?
the bottom jaw?
I don't remember that one.
That's a top right premolar, I think.
Oh, right.
Something.
Oh, Canadian talk. There you go.
The 1-5.
There you go.
1-5.
You know,
Okay.
I think that the topic of finding your in-office advocate is super good, because I was just thinking, what if I ever started practice again? Like just starting over. And then like I started smiling thinking like I could do this all over again and freaking just kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just see like, yeah, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And yeah, it's going to be like, oh man, got to hire a lot of people, got to fill a lot of rooms. But then you think it's just the same recipe that we've done before. And you really just need that good support. And if you don't have somebody who's just like seeing things how you're seeing things, and yeah, you're going to have weekly calibrations. You're going to have monthly KPI, report reviews. And all of these things are going to be able to help that person to see as you see, right? It's not just going to come naturally. It's going to take a long time. I was meeting with my therapist today. I love my therapist. Like every time I get off the phone with him, I'm just like, I love that guy. And then I think, how long did it take for us to get to this point, right? To where I feel like we just pick right up. And he just sees me for who I am, and he just listens and just loves, right? And it took a while for me to actually think, I really like this guy. That's because it takes work and consistency and just regular check-ins. And Eric, you're laughing because I'm your therapist, huh?
I know.
That's
I
why
wasn't
you're
laughing. I was
laughing.
scratching my beard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just working on that looks maxing again, fixing one thing.
So, I mean, just having those those touch bases with the most important people in your business, is so key. It's so important.
Okay.
Yep.
So switching over then, right? Like, so let's stay within like the front office team, right? So if you were to pivot, because I know, Alex, you have strong thoughts on what you would do with like a treatment coordinator, right? We've kind of talked about this before.
Yeah.
The person, if I'm defining treatment coordinator, I'm just saying the person who, when Tommy comes in and they need, we'll do what Spencer probably diagnoses. So like, crowns, and he needs a crown on, 3 and a crown on 4, right? And so they're coming in, they need that. And it's the person who's going in and like going over the finances, getting them scheduled, answering those types of questions, insurance stuff, and actually closing the treatment, so then you can do the treatment that's actually recommended and needed, right? Who have you found to be your best treatment coordinators? Like personality wise, are they within dental? Like, I think we should go through and do that, because I know, Alex, you have thoughts on like what you would do now versus what you've done in the past. And I want to know what's worked for you, Spencer, and if you've like tracked it.
We all know Eric wants more friends. If you're enjoying this episode, share the podcast and then tell them to DM Eric so he can hit his quota of 1 new friend per day. Now back to the episode.
Yeah, I don't usually delineate between office manager and treatment coordinator, because my office manager is usually my best salesperson.
Okay.
And she can also train the other front office staff on how to do it. So I don't have a designated treatment coordinator. I think I'm like a lot of dentists out there, in which it's just kind of multiple people can be a treatment coordinator. What are Alex's thoughts there?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of bad ones in the past, you know, so but like similar to like how if you're like, you want to redo like a startup and do it all over again. And like, I have those thoughts every once in a while too. I'm like, man, if I just like, let me just start this and like do it. Yeah, I would hire have like a shark come in, you know, like someone just like in sales. Like I don't need them. And again, I go back to like personality, and I don't care if you're like in dentistry or not. It's that personality wise, someone that can just like talk, knows how to listen, knows how to shut up, and like isn't scared of money, you know, that sort of thing. And I think there's so many, like you have, you know, someone that's great, that's like really good talking to patients and stuff, and you get them in front with like money signs, dollar signs, and they're like, I don't know, I can't form a sentence, and you're like, like why are you botching this thing? It's like, I don't know.
That makes sense. I don't know. Are there questions you could ask? Like, just if we can like ad lib this, unless no one, if you already have one, that's fine. But like, what's a question you would ask someone who's a treatment coordinator to find out if they're actually comfortable with money? You know how you said with the office manager, hey, what would you do if there's a problem? And you want to make sure they don't say, I would call you first. I wonder what you would say to a treatment coordinator when interviewing. And I do not have the answer to this, by the way. So I'll just sit here and twiddle my thumbs. But I don't know if you guys have thoughts.
So you're going to be presenting treatment to people that's $10,000 pretty regularly. Like, how does that make you feel asking somebody for $10,000? Does that make you nervous? Does that sound like difficult? Is that okay for you? And you can tell just based off of their body language after a question like that. Oh yeah, easy, right? That they truly feel like, oh, this is pretty much what I've normally done before, and that's okay. I've asked that question a lot, and you can get a sense. Let me tell you that I had a minimum wage, near minimum wage employee, and she was not collecting copays. And then finally, I just like, why are you not collecting copays? I said, oh, is it because it feels like a lot of money to you? Let's make sure that you understand that you are starting in your adult life as a professional. These people have been saving and earning and growing for decades, and they don't have the same bank account as you. You'll get there, but we can't put ourselves into those shoes and feel nervous about asking for that amount of money. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
and I think
that was a corrective thing that I had to give to people. But
like, you don't want, like, you wouldn't want someone like me. If I can't, I wonder too if like, I don't know if this is like,
not you.
If this is actually like PC or kosher or whatever, but like if you were sizing someone up to, right, when you had them, and like, would you want your treatment coordinator to be me, who like, I got some mismatched shocks that I got for free from Alex, like, you know, a couple years ago, or I'll buy everything from Costco, and I'm probably naturally more like, I don't like to spend a lot of money on stuff. Like, I really don't. Like, I feel like I'm pretty like minimalist, right? And I don't like to spend on stuff. I'm more of probably a saver in general. You know, like, I won't have like a BMW, right? Or like a nice car. I'll just get like something that's like cheap and reliable. Like, not because I either have or don't have the money. I don't care, right? So I don't like that kind of stuff. So like, would you want someone who's a treatment coordinator who you're like, you know, they look whether it's a guy or girl, like they look like well put together. It looks like they value things that do
Yeah.
cost more money and they think that's important versus like me.
Yeah. I, for the sake of not talking too much, what are your thoughts, Alex?
So I don't know. You can judge a book by a cover, whatever. I don't know if that's really it. I think there are some questions though that you can ask instead of just like looking at someone. Because looks are obviously deceiving, but like, and I can't remember. These are probably like from like 15 years ago. I remember having interview questions, and they were for like a treatment coordinator, and it was like, if you had to go on a vacation, like where would you go? And it's like, or if there were certain questions that if you asked it, you would kind of get a gauge on like how they were like willing to spend stuff, and if they were comfortable spending money or having money, like things like that. That gives a good gauge on like, are they like someone who saves all their money and doesn't like want to spend on things? Then they might present treatment, have, a $10,000 treatment plan, and they might say, oh, that is a lot of money, because it is to them. So I think there are some questions. I just can't think off the top of my
because
head.
like their job is like, you have to frame it another way. Cause it's always been a challenge for me too, to like present, like if you say $10,000, like I puckered up a little bit, right? When you say that, Spencer, just cause I'm like, oh shit, that is a lot of money. But I think what you need to, if you're the dentist, right? Even if we go back and say like, okay, what about the dentist in general talking about big treatment plans, right? Like if they can do it, and they know it needs to be done and they're confident in it, then they need to be confident in what money's attached to it, right? And not be like, oh, well, I want to do something cheaper for them. But also for the team member, right? That is their role. Their role, and maybe you need to frame it this way, your role isn't to like assess or judge whether I charge a lot in fees or I don't charge a lot, or insurance is going to cover it or isn't. Your job is to believe that what I'm presenting, or the hygienist or any like clinician, is the best treatment for this patient. And the money's just what the money is. That's what it is. Like you almost don't even like, why even focus on it? It's not even something you should think about.
Yeah, I love this because lots of different faces are coming to my mind of people who I've worked with. And we all know that person who just doesn't look confident. And then they go in to present treatment and we're like, oh crap, this isn't going to turn out. Or we've all seen that person who's just like, heck yeah, I got this. I love this. And then it doesn't matter how much money it is. And it's just that difference of approach and that confidence. So there's the two C's here. It's obviously confidence, but also it's connection. You have to have a connection with the patient, because if they're going in and they're just having that quick little connection to where you're feeling like you're just wanting to fist pump, because you're just like, dude, my patient, like, not only just learned about the dental treatment that they need, but they're feeling positive vibes right now. They're feeling good. And so now when we ask them to accept, there's so much more just like ease in the situation. So what I tell my staff in the front office is connect before you transact. Connection before transaction. Because if you just go in and you have the number right there and you're just like, all right, so doctor says you need this and it's going to be this much. That's going directly to transaction. So it's doctor's priority to build the value of the treatment that's needed. All right, patient, you need this. Because if you don't, this is potentially going to happen. That's why I'm telling you that you need this. So Haley is going to come in to talk to you about the finances of this. And so doctor has done his job to create value. Now it's important for person B, who I just called Haley, to come in and reiterate the value, to connect with the patient, and for them to make financial sense. Okay? Those are the three things that she needs to do. Reiterate what doctor just said. Now, she's not a doctor, so she's not going to get technical. All she has to do is, doctor said that you need these 2 crowns. And, with that connection, she's going to make the patient feel better. And, hey, I like these people. But also, she just has that duty to make the finances make sense. And how do you do that? Is you have a conversation. You check body language. You see if once you start at the highest amount, you see like, oh, do I need to go to a lower amount? Do I need to talk financing? Do I need to talk monthly payments? When we do those things and your treatment coordinator is connecting and is confident, I don't see why people are going to say no. If they have the money, if they have the ability to pay for it, why would they say no? It's all about
Yeah.
trust here.
Yeah. What about a third C? What about like compliment? And the only reason I say that is our 4-year-old is very, very good. He will go into a room, or like he'll be with like either at our daughter's school, and there'll be like another girl around or like an adult, and he'll compliment something they'll have and be like, I really like your hair. And he'll say that before, and then they usually are like, oh, I like this person now, right? Like he knows how to walk into a room, and like no one taught him this. He just figured out that he could say something nice about someone, and then like usually they give him something, right? Like there was one woman we were at our
Like clubhouse.
up at like a clubhouse area, and he had a penny in his hand, and he goes, oh, I just want to give the woman up front, I just want to give her a penny. And he goes, oh, here's a penny for you. And she goes, oh, do you want some candy? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so I was like, that kid, I was like, he figured out that if he compliments and gives something to someone, that they're like, yeah, okay. And like I don't know.
I think most of our people who compliment have learned how to do that because that is the connection.
Okay.
I was at Bath and Body Works with my daughter. We were on a little date, and I said, "Let's go get you something there." And the greeter like gave us a compliment. I'm like, "Oh, that was nice. Okay, I feel good." And then this this trashy looking person is walking in her Grinch pajama pants. And the greeter, she's just like, "Oh my gosh, your pajama pants are so cute." I'm like, that's what she's doing. Her job is just to be there.
Yeah,
To
you're not
give a
special.
compliment first thing when you walk into the
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh my gosh, so we all, yeah, you're exactly right. The compliment
Yeah, I mean, you don't
is
want
the
to do it in like
connection
a
I'm
rude
talking
way. It still
about.
should be authentic, right? Like that doesn't
Hey,
mean that.
hey,
Yeah.
she was good. It
Yeah.
sounded authentic.
Yeah.
I just didn't agree with it.
Maybe maybe she did like the pants. Who knows? Maybe that's just her personality. That's funny.
No,
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, when I went out actually to Newport Beach and shadowed that cosmetic dentist for a week during dental school, at the end of dental school, that was one thing. Well, many things that I learned, but one of the things that she was so good at was she would be, and she's doing full mouth like reconstructions, like every tooth needs a crown, right? And she's going through and like diagnosing and like talking to the patient. She's like, okay, yeah, this needs a crown, this needs a thing, this whatever. Oh, by the way, I love your necklace. Like she would interject it in between, and I would sit back and look and just think like she is so good at getting that connection. And people would fly all over, to see her and stuff like that. And it didn't even matter what she was diagnosing or what she was saying. It made the patient feel good.
Yeah.
And they were like, yep, I get you. You like my style or whatever it is. And that's probably how she
And this
made
is
her
one quick
business.
rant.
But
And I think this happens, right? And I think this sometimes can happen even with what you're doing. And this is me defending you, Spencer, or
Yeah.
like someone who's talking about, do more production, right? If it needs a crown, do a crown, right? And then people sometimes are a-holes and they're just like, well, you're just overdiagnosing. And I know sometimes like I'll joke with you about that because I think it's kind of ridiculous. But I think we need to frame this as all of that stuff is very fine and okay to do, because at the end of the day, you're still doing what the patient actually needs. I think a lot of times people hear things like, I compliment the patient, right? Like, or we're joking about like, oh, say their Grinch pants is nice. And you're like, well, those are obviously terrible. That's a disingenuous person and they suck. And it's like, we still need to remember, you're not changing how you're diagnosing in order to just get a sale. You're first starting with what the patient actually needs. And I feel like that gets missed a lot. Is like, you kind of get misconstrued sometimes, is like if you talk about selling, or you talk about complimenting someone, or coming in with confidence, or working with them on payment plans, that it's like, this isn't like actual dentistry, right? Like now what are you? And I just wanted to make that
Yeah, I
defending
think
what you do.
what you're delineating between is manipulation and persuasion.
Yeah.
because both can be seen as very similar, but they have different intentions behind them, right? And we don't want to be manipulative, but we have to be persuasive. And if people disagree with me on that, then I say, well, then how else are you going to get people to say yes to doing the dental treatment that you're diagnosing? You've got to persuade them somehow. You've got to tell them why it's necessary. You've got to tell them how much it costs, and and make sure that they understand that it's going to feel the value of what they're going to pay for it. Persuasion. And every day we have to persuade. And when we hand that baton off to the front office staff to talk about the treatment plan, we better hope that they are just as effective as persuading as we are.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And then like you said, it's reading the patient too, right? And I think a lot of us took, CE or courses and like in the importance of seeing who's in front of your chair, right? Because like if you've got a patient who's engineer personality, or they're like a software developer, they probably don't. Their version of persuasion is you need to clearly articulate to me why I need it. Maybe I want some details. I may not care about the money. I need to know why it needs to be done, and if you do that well, then I will do it. I don't care if it's $1,000 or $5,000, right? And then you've got other people who have been neglecting forever, and they're very much like they just want to feel a connection with someone, right? And that's how they get persuaded to do the treatment that needs to be done. And so that person might want more coddling, right? They might want more like, you're going to look so amazing after this. We're going to put this, nice porcelain crown on here, and you're going to feel exactly the same, and it's going to look so much better than the metal filling you have in there right now, right? And that may mean more to that person. You tell that to someone who's like an engineer, and they're going to be like, dude, stop fucking selling me, man. Just tell me why I need it. So I think it is important to learn the personality type of the patient that you have in the chair.
Yeah, got to read the room, and gotta just go through the reps so that you have experience, so that you know how to pivot, and you're gonna fail along the way, and you just have to brush it off and keep going.
Yep.
Anyone else with okay, we'll hit the last one before we go, otherwise we'll have to do
You know
it,
what?
I guess.
You know what? Why continue to dilute the value that we've already done with more gibberish? This was too good. And look at Alex. She's already pulling out her pillow.
Yeah, she fell asleep.
I just woke up to say my piece, and then no, that was good.
Yeah. No, that was a lot of good info, and I think that the main takeaway here is that the people who work up front with you, you've got to just constantly be having a high standard for them, and making sure that if they're not doing a good enough job, that you're taking ownership of that as the doctor and saying, how can I help the situation? Do I need to train? Do I need to hire someone else? Do I need to pay more? Do I need to, right? Like there needs to be ownership from us as the doctors. And even if you're an associate, you have the ability to have an effect on these front office staff, to where you can make their jobs more effective and you can make more money because of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Spencer, I love the confidence. I feel like that's the first time that someone's been like, Eric, just shut the fuck up. Don't go into this next one. We're good here. I'm stopping it. He's Kobe. You got Kobe right there.
Yeah, I just told you to stop, to end. The buzzer just blew, so let's just call it good.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, till next time.
No, my apologies. You're an amazing host. Both of you are great hosts. And I meant to not step on any toes, but
I'm joking.
I think that we delivered our growing amount of followers a nice solid tonight with some value.
Yeah, nice. All right, cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right.